Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here at Sesquicentennial State Park in the month of March and I'm going to do a little botany hike for you guys. So I'm going to point out all the plants that I can find and show you why I think they're cool. You're going to see a lot of beautiful flowers today. Let's go. Here is an oak tree that is putting out its flowers right now. So oak trees are wind pollinated and this is the special type of flower called a catkin, and these are only male. These oak trees don't have the showiest of flowers, but as you can see, there are many of them. Here's a look further back of this oak tree. Right here, you got a species of Selaginella. This is Selaginella acanthonota, which is actually rare in South Carolina. And right beside it, there is a lichen here in the genus Cladonia. Cladonias are very cool lichens called Reindeer lichens, and I'm not exactly sure what species this is, and if I do learn, I'll put it on the screen, but there you go, Cladonia. Here's another look at the Cladonias, and just notice how rounded they are. They just form these little colonies out here in the sandhills in South Carolina. Nice. This is one of my favorite vines in South Carolina here. This is yellow Jessamine, or Gelsemium sempervirens, which blooms out very early and the bumblebees absolutely love. There you go. And the flowers are very fragrant. They have a gorgeous smell. Here is another really cool small spring wildflower. Take a look. Here it is. This is Linaria canadensis and the family Plantagenaceae. This is, I believe the common name for this is eastern toadflax. The leaves are very small and the flowers are small too, but I think it's beautiful. Here is another tree that is in bloom right now. Let's take a look at this one. This right here, I believe, is Prunus serotina, which would make it the black cherry. And these flowers are beautiful and the fruits are edible too, and I think they're delicious. Oh wow, here's something pretty interesting, guys. I'm looking at a different black cherry tree now, and it's covered in these galls. Look at these long red galls on these cherry trees. This is done by a species of Mite, and I'll put it on screen now. And I think this is really cool how they create this shape in this tree. Now, if you live in the southeast, I'm sure you know we've got a lot of pines, but actually not so much this one, because this one has timber which is so valuable that we've pretty much logged it out of its entire existence, and now it only exists in preserves. This is the Longleaf Pine, Pinus palustrus. And for comparison's sake, here is a much more common species of pine, which I would say is probably the dominant pine here in these ecosystems nowadays. This is the Loblolly Pine, Pinus taeda. And you may notice the noticeably shorter leaves. That's one of the main ways you can tell it apart. This one is cool. Right here is another species of the genus Prunus, and this one is Prunus caroliniana, the Carolina Laurelcherry. And they may look very similar, but there are some subtle differences. They are both in the same genus Prunus, after all. This one is real nice. This plant here is one of my favorites, and here you go. This is the common yucca here. This is Yucca filamentosa. And you can tell it's filamentosa by these white little filamentous leaves. Or parts of the leaves, I should say. I love yuccas though. Yuccas are a lot more common out west, but you do get some eastern here too. And this is one of them. This plant here is yet another one of my favorites. Here you go. Look at that flower. This is a dogwood. This is Cornus florida in the family Cornaceae. These four-petaled white flowers, and they turn into these red berry fruits that are very bright and they stand out on the tree. And here's the leaves on that dogwood. They're just starting to come out for spring. Here's a pretty cool plant that's about to bloom, and I'm not sure exactly what species this is, but it does look like it may be in the blueberry family. I'll put the species up on screen for you, but there you go. It looks like we're gonna miss it blooming by maybe about a week or two, but I still think it's pretty cool to show off. There you go. Alright, nice. We have made it to the swampland section of this park, so let's do a little section about all the plants that are growing in the swamp. These are going to be pretty cool. First off, we got this American holly tree, Ilex opaca, named after its opaque leaves which have a very spiny, toothy margin on them. I'd say this one's about 20 feet tall. But these can get much taller than this. I would say up to about 80, 100 feet tall is the max height these guys can reach. And right beside that, we have a species of native bamboo. This is literally a species of bamboo. This is Linaria tecta. And here's the stems. They look quite like bamboo. And bamboo is in the grass family, so this is actually also just a grass. And of course, here in the swamp, you have a species of morella, known as the bayberries, and I'm not exactly sure what species this one is off the top of my head. I'll just put it on the screen and show you what the common name is, but there you go, morella, in the family Miraceae. And here are the old fruits of a species of shrub called Lionia lucida, or the shiny Lionia, and it's in the blueberry family Eriophyes. Doesn't seem like any of the flowers are out, but you do have the leaves in the old fruit. There you go. Now here is a plant that's in bloom right now. Let's take a look. It's covered in bees, but I'll risk that. Here's another plant in the rose family called Oronia, or the chokeberries. This is Oronia arbutifolia. We've got some cool plants that are just floating on top of the marsh water too. Floating on top of the water here is a species of Ludwigia in the evening primrose family Onagraceae. And I really wish it was blooming right now because it would have yellow flowers and they'd be really pretty, but oh well. It's not the time of year for that. And last but not least, we got these Virginia chain ferns that are just starting to come up. This is called Woodwardia virginica. And I'm actually excited that I got to see them because I've barely made it in time for them to start leafing out. That's a great one. Wow, here's another great one, guys. This is the flower of the southern dewberry, Rubus trivialis. Now, the genus Rubus taxonomically is such a mess, but I do believe it's only distinct enough to identify the species. So there you go, the southern dewberry. Which is essentially just a blackberry. That's all you need to know. It's very similar to a blackberry. And right beside those dewberries is a dainty little species of viola. This is Viola primulifolia. Now down the line I have a lot of different species of viola that I can show you, but this is just the first one. Let's look at it from the side, how about that? And there's this little leaf. Viola primulifolia, the primrose leaf violet. Now here's a plant that is very closely related to the garden strawberry out in the wild. It's in the same tribe as the strawberry. Here you go. It's a yellow-flowered little trailing plant called Potentilla. And if I'm not mistaken, this is the species Potentilla canadensis. The common name for a lot of these species of Potentilla is the cinquefoil, or the cinquefoil. This is what a leaflet of that Potentilla looks like. It is very similar to the strawberry, but the main difference is there's 5 leaflets instead of 3. And the yellow flower, of course. Alright, and that just about brings us to the end of this botany hike. I didn't get everything, of course, but I did find a lot more than I expected to. So yeah, that was my first time ever filming a botany hike like this, so if you enjoyed that, thanks for watching.